To get the dealer's cost, the list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates, click on the Car Cost Canada tab at any time during the video.
This is the Volvo XC40 and it is the latest iteration of Volvo's XC lineup. This subcompact crossover is competing against likes of the BMW X1, Jaguar E-Pace and Mercedes GLA. Now this vehicle is a little larger than its competitors and that is something that really shows off with the interior space. But this car is built on the compact modular architecture, which is different to the scalable product architecture that underpins all of the other Volvos in their model lineup. But being a Volvo, it carries over a lot of familiar traits with the exterior design and interior design. It has some familiar features that if you've been in any of the other modern Volvos, you will easily recognize in here. And I actually think this might be one of the coolest cars that Volvo has in its lineup. Its exterior design language just works so well with this tiny little crossover. And really, I think it's the perfect amalgamation of everything that Volvo is today and what it stands for. So let's go for a drive and I'll break down everything that I found out after living with this car for a couple days. I do find it interesting that a matter of 7-8 years ago, Volvo had one thing going for them, and that was safety. They built very safe, very reliable vehicles. But beyond that, there was a lot more to be desired. And now the entire lineup has been refreshed so that somewhat dullness has disappeared and a lot of the same traits, whether it be the design language or available technology, are found across their model range. And this XC40 may be the most successful implementation of their design. Yeah, I love the way this thing looks. In Canada, there's only 3 trims to this Volvo and 1 powertrain configuration. So that means that we have the same 2-litre 4-cylinder turbocharged engine and all-wheel drive in all of the models. This engine produces 248 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque with automatic engine stop-start. And it's a really peppy little engine. A lot of the power comes on early in the rev range and kind of disappears around the 5,000 mark, but it has a chilling amount of torque if you want to get off the line and merge onto a highway. If you ever pin it like I do right now, it takes a bit of a second for the car to downshift and start propelling itself forward. And the turbo lag is there, but it isn't bad at all. Other things that you'll find in every single XC40 is this 12.3-inch driver's instrument cluster in front of me, as well as the 9-inch touchscreen right here. Those Thor hammer LEDs. Now this car I'm in is the R design. It's the mid-level trim with all 3 of the option packages. So that's your convenience, climate, and vision packages. Now, some of the options that are included in that are heated rear seats and a heated steering wheel. We have blind spot monitoring, 360-degree cameras, wireless phone charging, a power tailgate, which leads into some other functionality things that I'll save for the end of the video when I'm breaking down the rear seats, and the trunk. The auto parking system for perpendicular and parallel parking, and I tested this out and it's actually one of the better systems I've come across. The instructions are very clear. There's also Volvo's semi-autonomous driving mode, which they call pilot assist. Now this, on highway driving, you could let go of the steering wheel for a bit and it will keep you in line and adjust the cruise control with the radar sensing. Although Volvo wouldn't actually want you to do that. It is just to make highway driving perhaps a little easier for you. Now I can't take another breath without talking about the interior, and most critically, these orange carpets. This is one of the best things I've seen in a car this year. It's a $100 option. Every time you step in, it brings a smile to your face. Seeing something that is, quite frankly, a hard color to find in an interior of, let's say, a premium vehicle at the very least. I feel like if you want orange interiors, you have to get in hypercar territory like a McLaren or a Lamborghini. It feels lovely to the touch and still has a lot of space to store water bottles here along the door cards. The rest of the materials in here are brilliant as well. We've got these felt and leather seats. Where I rest my arms are a leather padding, and there's soft touch plastics up here on the dashboard and then some harder ones down low. Nothing out of the ordinary. There's a little bit of black plastic surrounding the gear lever down here and the touchscreen. The touchscreen, by the way, is utterly marvelous. I stepped into this vehicle never being in a Volvo previously, never been able to try out the system, and it was instant. Trying to find everything in here didn't take too long. It has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Really, when it comes to gripes of the interior, I don't have too many. It's a couple nitpicks. I don't like self-righting shifters in any vehicle. This one is perhaps the most successful implementation of one I've come across though, because you have to double tap to get into drive or reverse. The digital instrument display is good, but if you want to find ones that are sharper, crisper, have more customization, you can find them in other vehicles. Saying that though, this displays all of the information you want. You can have your map in the center, and it's displaying all of your driver information and safety systems up here too. Driving dynamics of this vehicle, well, Volvo wasn't really setting out to make a sporty vehicle. Despite this being the R design, the more athletic looking vehicle, it doesn't have any sort of mechanical upgrades or power upgrades versus any of the other XC40s, and I'm fine with that. You know, this vehicle was very comfortable, really refined, which wasn't the surprise getting into a premium vehicle, but the thing that I was taken back by was how quiet it is on highway driving. With a lot of these subcompact vehicles, just because they're so slab-sided and boxy, you can feel that the wind is kind of bullying them when you're going down a 110 strip of road. This though was very composed, and the wind and road noise wasn't anything to worry about at all. The steering is light and the brakes are excellent. You do have different driving modes that you can select with this button down here, and you can tell a difference between comfort and dynamic mode. The steering gets heavier, the throttle is more alert, but quite frankly, that doesn't make a difference. With the R design, you get these paddles behind the steering wheel, and they feel really nice. They've got this rubberized texturing on the back of them, but when you shift into manual shifting mode, they rarely listen to you. They often ignore all of the inputs that you give towards them. And for the shifter, you can put that in a manual mode, but you shift from left to right instead of up and down. That's in a lot of other vehicles. And quite frankly, I'll put the car in dynamic mode if I want to have a little heavier of a steering feel, but it doesn't help it out to make any more involving of a drive. And to top it off, even if you are in a manual driving mode, the car will still shift the gears for you too. So yeah, it's not the most involving car you can buy in this class, but simply put, I didn't want it to. I wanted it to be comfortable, which it is, quiet and refined, which it absolutely is, and a wonderful place to sit. Even up here, I've got plenty of room with these seats. We have a little bit of thigh extension that you just pull out manually, and then under the driver's seat, there's actually a little bit of hidden storage as well. Although when you do have your thigh extension pulled out and then you reach for the storage, you're not really seeing it. You only can see sort of the handle between your legs. For rear seats, now this is something I was very surprised by. Despite being a subcompact crossover, I can sit behind myself with a little room to spare. That is shocking to find. As I mentioned earlier, those outside seats are heated as well, and if you fold down the center armrest, you can see that the car actually has a ski pass-through, which is excellent. The seats split 60-40, so I'm happy that Volvo came up with another idea to solve that problem, as you know, ski holes are something that buyers really want to find in a crossover, or at least 40-20 folding seats. You also have the ability to fold down the headrests electronically with the touchscreen up here. So if you find it in the menu and you hit that button, they fold down, helping out with rear visibility, which you really do need in this vehicle. That rear pillar is quite chunky. Everywhere else it has good visibility, but back there, sometimes you can get a little bit nervous. In the trunk, because we have the convenience package, we have the ability to fold down the seats with a touch of a button, and you can see that the cargo cover folds underneath. And then when you fold up that floor panel to have an upright angle, you actually have little shopping bag hooks so that things don't flop around in the bag. It really is the little details in cars I find separate them from the others, and stuff like that. With all of the functionality in that trunk, it just shows off so much intent that Volvo has with its vehicles and the brand. The Volvo XC40 has truly amazed me. I am thoroughly impressed with this vehicle, to the amount of interior space so that a tall guy like me can feel comfortable in there, the overall packaging and functionality, and it has a little bit of charm to it, a little bit of personality that is so rare to find in the automotive industry today. It may be how it looks, it might be how it succeeds so well in this mission, or it might just simply be those brilliant orange carpets. But nevertheless, I think that this vehicle is without question or a shadow of doubt a segment leader, and perhaps even the best in class of the subcompact crossovers. So that's been everything from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watching this video here on Motormouth. My name is Max Landy. Thanks for watching.
Car Cost Canada provides the dealer cost, a list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. The link is in the description below.